Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Non-Cooperators. We're back playing some more Dead Frontier Outbreak 2. Okay. So where we last left off, let me just do the rundown. Drew straws. I got the sword straw. Got some leather on. Shotgun. Crowbar. Went to a pharmacy. Busted a zombie up. Got a first aid kit. Found them all. A lot of zombies. Ran around the block. Went inside. Found some people. They tried shooting me. I negotiated. I stripped for them. And now, we have a deal going on. I'm taking Smith down to the generator room where we're gonna find some good shit. So let's see what happens after that.
We reached the generator.
Yay!
Smith promptly pulled a lever and pressed a few buttons. Apparently getting the thing up and running was as simple as that, because it immediately sprang to life. The lights in the room flashed and came on.
How much gasoline does it actually have?
Our activities had disturbed a small group of infected who had been lurking in a side room, and they were now rushing toward us.
Ah, great.
I opened fire and was easily able to gun the bastards down. I breathed a sigh of relief and turned to Smith, but to my horror he was lying on the floor, bleeding heavily.
How?
In confusion, I had accidentally shot him in the leg.
Wait, you shot him in the leg? What the fuck? Okay, so improv's a tourniquet, leave him to die, shoot him and put him out of his misery. No, but if I have this first aid kit, so that'll actually help us out. But I don't know if I should use the first aid kit and be like, okay, so here you go, you're welcome, Smith, and I bring him back. He shot me! Shoot this motherfucker. Ox is gonna, Ox, the big buff back guy. I don't know why I'm imagining, that actor. Oh my god. Give me 1 second. I'll get the guy's name and just give me 1 second. I'll get the guy's name. You know what? I probably won't get his name, because he's got a weird name. Well, not really a weird name. I cannot pronounce it to save my life. So just give me 1 second. Okay, to Jamo or Jamo Hudson? Jamo Hudson? I cannot pronounce it to save my life. He was in the movie Blood Diamond with Leonardo DiCaprio. If you guys know who I'm talking about. That black guy, he's a very, very, very good actor, but I don't know why I'm imagining him as Ox in here, and if I were to do this movie, I'd be like, we need that black guy. I mean, it would be awesome to have Samuel Jackson be like, yo, shoot this motherfucker! I can't do Samuel Jackson. Shoot this motherfucker right here! I just imagine him just being like, it's like, oh yeah, like he shot me in the leg, and be like, oh, shoot that motherfucker. Okay, so, I opened fire, was easily, gun down, okay, use the first aid and let's see what happens.
I knew Smith didn't have a lot of time, so I quickly removed the first aid kit from my backpack and got to work. I used a tourniquet to staunch the bleeding and then bandaged the wound. It wasn't much, but it was the best I could do. I helped him to his feet, and we headed back to the group.
Alright, so hopefully it won't tattle on me.
When we reached the stairwell, we were greeted by a terrifying noise. All the gunfire earlier, and now the bright lights of the mall had attracted a large group of infected who were trying to get in any way they could.
All the gunfire and the bright lights of the mall had attracted a large group of infected who were trying to get in the... Okay. So, that was not a good idea to turn the generators on, because not only my gunfire brought zombies, but also turning on the generator, turned on all the lights and everything in the mall on, that actually brought more zombies. So, here we go.
I had securely barricaded this area when I first entered the...
Yes, last episode I did that, yeah.
But it brought us enough time to get back to the group.
Yay.
By the time we got back to the group, they were already celebrating.
Yeah.
Now the power was back on and they were focused on making the most of it while it lasted. Several had gotten one of the coffee shops up and running and were busy preparing hot food and drinks.
That's cool.
Others were setting up a games console to entertain themselves while not on guard duty.
Awesome.
Knowing about the threat from downstairs, it wasn't particularly reassuring.
Huh.
Smith had lost a lot of blood.
It wasn't particularly reassuring.
Once I told them,
it's like this guy is actually in a recording studio doing this.
Ox ordered some of the few women among the survivors to take care of him.
Saw him for a few women. Okay, warn them about the danger. Ask for your reward or get a cup of coffee. Huh. Wait, I'm not too sure. I think, yeah, maybe I should warn them about the danger first. But I think I'm just gonna run and get my reward.
No time to relax. The infected would be inside very soon, and if we weren't prepared, we'd be overrun in minutes. Before I could even finish explaining the situation, Ox was barking orders at his men, getting them into the best position to deal with the threat. They were only just in time.
Oh, okay. Well, at least I'm not way too late.
Door burst
I'll see
open.
now the picture changed.
Seemingly unstoppable horde of infected zombies charged through. The first wave was gunned down before they reached the escalator, but more and more of them just kept on coming. Every gun in the building was blazing while survivors armed with clubs and axes struggled to keep the tide of monsters from climbing the stairs. I had no idea if we'd be able to fight them off or not.
Stay and fight, run for the pharmacy, or get the hell out. We need the stuff at the pharmacy, so we're gonna have to run to the pharmacy. But in all honesty, I'm pointing at this like you guys can fucking see. I gotta do it like this, guys. I'm sorry. So what they should have been doing is right here at the escalator. They should have at least had 3 to 4 people firing downward on this escalator right here, so it'll be blocking up their path. But you know, then it's whatever. That's the only way that I can actually think about it. All right, so we gotta run to the pharmacy and get what we actually came for.
I knew there was no way we'd be able to fight off the infected horde. My thoughts turned once again to my dying wife, and I realized that this might be my last chance to secure the antibiotics she so desperately needed. While the others held the infected at bay, I ran as fast as I could for the pharmacy.
Next.
It took me less than a minute to reach the former drugstore. It had been totally untouched by looters, and all the various medicines were readily available. I could still hear the battle raging behind me, and I knew that I didn't have much time. Unfortunately, I wasn't alone. It seemed that the infected had found another way into the building.
Ah, great.
Several of them were now shambling straight toward me.
I gotta close the shutters. I have to get this. I have to get this shit.
I sprang immediately into action, jumping up to grab the bottom of the heavy iron shutters and pulling them down before the infected could get inside. I was only just in time. Had I have taken just one more second to lock them in place, I would have been devoured for sure. Now that I had the luxury of time, I thoroughly searched the pharmacy for the antibiotics I needed. I filled my backpack with as much of the stuff as I could, and then made my way out of the shop through the back door.
Like, fuck you all!
I found myself in some sort of staff-only area that would normally have been off-limits to the general public. There were corridors leading to various offices and storage areas behind the back of the shops, but I had no time for sightseeing. I followed the signs and headed straight for the stairs. As I turned a corner, I heard a scream and the sounds of a struggle. One of the female survivors
Damn, it's loud.
tried to make an escape, but had been ambushed by one of the infected. She had dropped her pistol and was now struggling to keep the monster from biting her.
Wait. As I turned the corner, one of the female survivors had tried to make an escape, but had ambushed one of the I was struggling to keep the monster from biting her. Okay, so either none of these options are good. No, for real, none of them are good. It's ignore the plea, wrestle the zombie off of her. If I wrestle the zombie off of her, zombie's gonna bite me. Steal her gun and ammo, that's kind of fucked up. Or shoot them both, which is even more fucked up. I don't know why you would shoot them both. Just shoot the zombie. But I think honestly, the best bet is your your own self. So you have to ignore her. I mean, I would have stole her gun and ammo. I mean, but I think trying to go back and stealing her shit and just running out of there is probably gonna take too much time. So ignore.
This was no time for chivalry. I left the girl.
Chivalry is dead.
Stairs.
Ran to the stairs.
As I reached the stairwell, I became all too aware that the sound of gunfire, a constant companion for the last few minutes, had suddenly stopped. Had the survivors fought off the infected, or had they all been wiped out? I had no way of knowing either way.
Yeah, they've all been wiped out. Take the stairs to the roof. Take the elevator to the roof. Head back to the others. No, they're all dead. So take the stairs to the roof.
I wasn't going to risk heading back to the group. In my heart, I knew they were all dead, and either way I needed to get home to save my wife. I ran up the stairs, out of the fire escape, and onto the roof. I stepped out into the open air and breathed a sigh of relief. I was on the top level of a multi-story car park which seemed to be blessedly free of zombies. There were also plenty of parked cars in relatively good condition, perfect for a swift and safe ride home. I suddenly noticed movement out of the corner of my eye. I span round and took aim, expecting it to be one of the infected. To my relief and surprise, it was a handful of survivors who had managed to escape the carnage downstairs. Before I could meet up with them, something leaped at me from the shadows, knocking my gun from my hands and nearly pushing me to the floor. I regained my balance just in time to defend myself from the creature's next assault.
Just punch him in the face? No. Grab his neck and push him over the railings. Knee in the groin. He won't feel that. I think I gotta just grab his neck and push him over the railing. I think.
As the zombie ran forward, I grabbed it by the neck with both hands. Realizing he'd be unable to bite me, I pushed him back with all my might, forcing him toward the railings. It took every ounce of strength that I had remaining, but I managed to shove the infected bastard over the edge.
With these survivors...
A few seconds later, I heard a sickening splat as his body hit the ground.
Nice. But with these survivors that are just over there, just looking at this whole entire thing, as I hear that splat, I just turn around being like, feel free to step in anytime!
Now that the immediate danger had been dealt with, I had to decide how best to get back to the ground floor. As I picked up my gun, I took another look around. There were plenty of parked cars that I could steal, and the other survivors had already begun hot-wiring an SUV.
Cool. So steal a car, join the survivors, walk down, have some building. Strength in numbers at this point, honestly.
I decided that my best bet was to join up with the other survivors. They seemed pleased to see another living human, and were totally overjoyed.
Oh, they didn't even know it was around here.
Safe to go. Since I was the only one who knew the way, they let me drive. As we made our way down through the car park, we realized just how fortunate we had been. The place was crawling with infected, and there was no way we could have escaped on foot.
Alright, so we're almost done.
The car park, breaking through the wooden barrier and skidding out onto the main road.
It's
I
raining.
chose the most direct route I could think of, back toward the compound, and drove as fast as I could. I didn't get far, though. Not more than 2 blocks down the street, I came across the remains of a serious traffic accident.
Huh.
Several vehicles blockaded the road.
Shut them out of the way, no. Get out and push the way, no. Shit, I don't remember. I don't remember if we do have to continue on foot. I think we should shut them out of the way.
I knew that getting out of the car unnecessarily could easily prove fatal. I slowed down to a safe speed and gently pushed the other cars out of the way.
It's an SUV. It's powerful enough to do it.
The previous owners had not bothered to put the brakes on before abandoning their vehicles, so it was relatively easy to move them.
It's an SUV. It's powerful enough to actually move them.
Of careful maneuvering, and seriously dented the front of my ride.
Who gives a shit?
Eventually able to clear a path.
We're not auctioning this ride off to like pimp my ride or anything like that. Who gives a shit? It's like, oh, you dented the front of the SUV. Who gives a shit?
As I looked down the road ahead of me, I realized that making my escape might not be as easy as I first thought. A huge mob of infected assembled on the street ahead.
Accelerate and run the bastards over. Turn off to the... Alright, we're going to have to turn off to the back roads because unfortunately, the SUV is not that powerful. Eventually it's going to run out of gas. Eventually the zombies are going to overwhelm us, and you can't actually run zombies over just like that. Maybe a tank, but in real life, no. Eventually the SUV will eventually slow down, and it will eventually come to a screeching halt, and all the zombies will just, you know, be all on top of the car. So, let's turn down to the back road.
I wasn't going to risk driving through a ravenous horde of the infected unnecessarily.
Yeah.
I turned off down a small back road and took another route back to the compound. It was a little more time-consuming, but a lot less suicidal. I finally made it out of the town and back to the countryside.
Yay.
The sun was setting in the distance behind me. I had been through a lot that day and was glad that I would soon be reunited with my loving wife. Just when I thought I was out of danger, the engine began to make strange clunking noises. I prayed that it would last until I got home, but God didn't seem to be listening.
He hates me! Try to fix it. No, don't even bother fixing it. You know what it is? It's the gas. That's what it really is. You're not gonna piss out gas or shit out gas. We're walking the rest.
I knew I had no hope of fixing the problem, and it was far too dangerous to waste time trying.
Exactly.
The compound was only an hour's walk or so away, so I abandoned the vehicle and resolved to carry on foot.
There we go.
After a long and terrifying walk through the gloom of twilight,
Huh.
I finally arrived
Fucking
at
Twilight.
my father-in-law's compound. I was mentally and physically exhausted, I
Where he
wanted
was.
nothing more than to crawl into bed, cuddle up to my wife, and fall into a deep sleep. I was expecting a far warmer welcome than I received.
Huh.
Despite my heroic efforts on their behalf, the guards wisely insisted that my companions and I prove we hadn't been bitten before being allowed in. Once more I had to strip down to my skin to show that I would remain among the living. With the formalities over and done with, we were finally allowed inside.
Yay.
As soon as the gates were safely closed behind me, my father-in-law ran out from the farmhouse and uncharacteristically gave me a hug. Then he asked me about the medicine.
It's like, nah, I fucked up.
I smiled and showed him the contents
It's
of
a
my backpack.
weird fucking
I had
picture.
secured enough
Like that, you got that
antibiotics
person right
to
up.
treat everyone who
That
lived
person
in
right over there, just going.
myself
"Ah!"
We wasted no time in delivering them to everyone who needed it. Over the course of the next few days, the compound began to recover.
Yay.
With the exception of the 2 worst cases, everyone survived the illness and were soon back on their feet.
Yay.
Most importantly of all, I had saved my beautiful wife.
Yay.
Again.
Yet again. Again! You owe me a BJ! So, survive the day, yes. Get the antibiotics, yes. We get the rank A. Solid understanding of the survival outbreaks, or your skills are far more of average. You would probably survive a real outbreak. Compassion of A+. The outbreak has given you the chance to show your true bravery and heroic nature, the well-being of others in your primary concern. So, thanks for playing. If you enjoyed, then you'll definitely love our free zombie MMORPG. Check it below. Dead Frontier, the ultimate MMORPG. I'll try it out and see if it's acceptable for the actual show itself. But next time on the non-cooperators, it'll either be this game, the RPG, or I don't know, something else. So surprise for next week. We'll see you next time.